Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another Slow Customs, and today's customs will be on Sir Nigel Gresley and Papyrus. I'm doing these two together because, they're brothers, or cousins, or whatever, so I figured might as well work when I put them together, so yeah, anyway. We'll talk about Gresley first. So, Gresley is just made out of a standard Spencer. I think it's a 2003 Spencer. And I didn't have to modify it too much. Obviously, you could probably tell that there is no face to Gresley. Well, that's because I decided not to give him one. Instead, he has a open and smoke box door, and there's a little smoke box dart thing in there. So I'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, the paint for Gresley is the same blue that I used for, I think Lorry 1 or Lorry 4, I don't know, whatever other blue engines I have, I used the same blue for that, for Gresley, and I think it really matches how his present-day livery is. And I tried to copy his present-day BR Blue livery, and I think I did pretty well with that in terms of, like, lining and the color shade, so, yeah. The nameplate for Gresley is printed out of the sheet that I had made from the same app that made the nameplates for Papyrus and all the other engines. I actually made a Mallard one, so Mallard actually has an updated nameplate at the moment now, so that's really nice. But otherwise, I just made the nameplate in the app and printed it out and scaled it, and it looks really good with scale with Gresley, so yeah. There's also one on the other side, obviously. You can probably maybe see it. Yeah, there. So yeah. The lining is yet another dual lining. This one wasn't so bad, but hopefully after the other two A4s and maybe sandwich, I should be done with dual lining, because god, dual lining sucks. So yeah, anyway, so that's just white with black, and there's 5 bands, just like it is on the actual Gresley, because there is no firebox boiler band lining thing. I don't know, but I just tried to keep it close to that. There is a little bit of a yellow part there that's supposed to represent the crust he has on his side. I honestly don't know what that crust is supposed to represent. I can't get a good picture where it's close up to it. So yeah, I added that on Mallard, so I figured might as well add it on Gresley because it's there. Yeah, anyway. The cab, he actually doesn't have his number. For one, because I don't really want to do his number, because then I'd have to do like 609 or something. I'd have to fit a 600 in there. So I figured I might as well just kind of, no, it's 6,000, isn't it? Yeah, 60,000, I don't know. But there's a lot of zeros in there, and I don't want to try and fit that on that small space. So I kind of left it out, but it looks fine. I did what a lot of people also do, is color the splasher, or the cover and wheels thing black. Pretty simple. His tender here, not really any modifications to it besides the water cap. That's just another 1x1 round stud on that, so yeah. The lining, I think, is actually really nice on this. It turned out great. The British Rail crest, I did put it on the side there, because, he kind of has to have it because it's Gresley. So I added the crest there. I think it's alright. I tried to copy what I did on my Ginty, because Ginty is another one that has the crest, so this side is a little bit cleaner with the lining too. A little thicker in some parts, just because I had used a bit of paint with the marker, and I'm still debating whether I want to do that in the future, but yeah. Anyway, he's got a handrail there too, pretty simple. Wheels obviously had to be painted from the Spencer. I didn't add his name on the bottom yet, I never really got around to it, but yeah. Alright, well, now to the key part of Gresley, his smoke box. Now, I'll move his tender here out of the way so it doesn't get scratched up with the wheels, but yeah. The smoke box for Gresley is scratch built with a like a wooden chest hinge that you can get at like Walmart for like $2. It's like a craft thing, but I took the hinges off of that and I glued it to a piece of cardboard that was rounded to the smoke box shape of Spencer, and then I glued the hinge on it, obviously, and then I had to bend the hinge a little bit to get it into like the smoke box area, so it kind of, there's a lot of hot glue in there, but I'm trying to focus the camera. Let's see if it'll work. Maybe not, but I had to bend it so that way it goes around the smoke box area. That way it's able to just fit in there. Also, the face actually wasn't that hard to take off. All I had to do was jam like a knife in there, or like a tiny little crowbar thing that I have, and just kind of pop the face off, because the internal structure was actually, it was well engineered, but since the Spencer was kind of worn and not the best condition, I suppose that the internal structure of the face was weakened, so it kind of just like popped off really easily. And also I did have to get the screw out of the or like the nail out of the main body there, to make space for the smoke box door, or yeah, the smoke box dart thing. Speaking of which, that's just another Lego disc piece in there. I know that the actual A4s have a kind of like cut in half smoke box door, but I didn't really feel like cutting the Lego piece just because I was lazy. So I just kind of glued it onto a little bit of a square piece of cardboard and just kind of stuck it in there with hot glue and painted over it. You won't really see it too much because it will be hidden behind this door here, but yeah. I also debated putting something funny in there as like a reference thing. Like if you flip the door open, there's like a funny face in there, or like a Anakin saying hello there. But I decided to put a smoke box door, just be a little realistic, so yeah. And in my headcanon, Gresley is part of the 20% of the engines that didn't get a face when they were built, because in my headcanon, when an engine is built, they have a 20% chance of not having a face and an 80% chance of having a face. So that's kind of how my AU works. I also did this because I didn't really have any other faces that I could use for Gresley. So yeah, I just decided to not give him a face. So yeah, that's Gresley. Really nice. I also, obviously, you can probably see, I added white rims to the wheels. They're not on the actual Gresley, but I thought it would just make it look a lot better. Alright, and now we're on to Papyrus. If you don't know who Papyrus is, you probably don't. He is a A3 locomotive that was actually the first, I believe, locomotive to break the speed record of 108 miles an hour. And he still holds the record as the highest speed achieved by a non-streamlined locomotive. So, I mainly made Papyrus for the Sans Undertale reference. Otherwise, yeah, he kind of has that other purpose in my series, I guess. Anyway, so I made the main body for Papyrus here out of a Henry, actually. I noticed how similar the Henry's and Gordon body were, so all I really had to do was pop the firebox off of Henry back here and just make a scratch new one. And how I did that was I took a Thomas coal bunker. After I cut it off, I sanded it flat, and then I traced the Henry boiler around it. And then I just kind of shaved and carved out of the coal bunker to get it to that same A3 boiler shape, or firebox shape that Gordon has and all the others that I've done. So And I did take the Henry apart. You can probably see some cracks here and there, especially on the running board there, because I originally wanted to make this into Sodor Castle, as just kind of like, why not? Because I didn't know what to do with the Henry, but then I thought of making Papyrus. And I had recently gotten some new paint, which is, I believe, Bright Palm. And that paint that I used was really similar to the LNER Apple Green. It's not exact, like some person on Twitter had found. I wanted to get that paint for, obviously, my Papyrus, but I wasn't able to find it, so I found the next best option, and it's the matte Bright Palm. Perfect for Apple Green. Anyway, so yeah. Another advantage to using the Henry, the wheels are green already, and I don't have to paint over that with the Apple Green. So that was really nice. Now you can probably tell he doesn't have a face, just because I didn't want to use another Gordon face for like another character's face, because I already did that for Pretty Polly and Thistle. So I figured might as well just make him faceless. So these are two faceless locomotives, basically. As another 20% chance locomotive that didn't have a face. So, yeah. That's just kind of glued in there, and it's painted black, obviously, with another Lego dish plate thing there. Otherwise, the body didn't change too much besides, obviously, the firebox, which I think turned out really nice, to be honest. Like, it still looks a little rough in some spots, but otherwise it's pretty clean. Take the tender off. Another dual lining. It is pretty much the same lining as Gresley, so it wasn't too hard. And I think I did a little bit better because I had a really good Sharpie this time, because I do my dual lining with Sharpie. That way I have a better control, so I think it turned out pretty good. Same kind of foot plate detail that Polly and Lemberg have. I tried to replicate that the best that I could. It looks a little out of place, but I think it works. Otherwise, there's also a buffer beam. Pretty simple. The cab, it kind of went through like one or two phases. One was a white with the black lining as it is on the boiler and firebox here. But I decided to just line it with white, just because it looked a bit better and a little bit more accurate. And then the third phase was add in this back part here, because I originally had it going open-ended. That looked not good, so I just kind of filled that in. The number for Papyrus is his actual number that he had. Really simple. Cab windows are a little wonky, but it should be fine. The nameplate, obviously same kind of thing with the Gresley, except I had to glue it onto a smaller, or like a thin piece of cardboard to give it structure, as I probably said with Polly and Lemberg, so yeah. No back detail, obviously. I don't really see it too much, so yeah. And yes, you can still see kind of like the crack that goes through it. I tried to repair it the best I could, but yeah. Here's the other side. It's a little bit messier. I tried not to make it messy, but I also didn't mind too much if it didn't look the best, because you won't really see the side too much. So, yeah. The wheels also have white lining going around the rim. Pretty simple. Now, here is his tender. Same kind of construction to Polly and Lemberg. The lining pretty much the same on Papyrus. So yeah, not much to talk about, just because it is the same kind of build with Polly and Lemberg. I also do maybe plan to make another tender, another LNER corridor style tender for Isle of Sodor, because his tender at the moment looks just horrendous. So I think I might do that for Isle of Sodor here in a bit. But anyway, LNER on the side, which I think I did pretty good with spacing. This side could have used a little work, but yeah, like I said, you won't see it too much. Red buffer beam on the back there. I actually had to build another chassis, like I did with Isle's water tender, so that's why there's a piece of tape here. I also used Terrence wheels because I had an extra Terrence, and the black wheels that I had, they had like a big crack in them, and I didn't really want that for Papyrus, so I just tore off the Terrence wheels, painted them black, and used those. And again, there's also a white rim there, so yeah. Alright, so I think that's going to be my Papyrus and Gresley. Really proud of these two. Hopefully I only have one more A3 to go, that being Sandwich. Otherwise, I'll probably get maybe another one after Sandwich to make a more accurate Scotsman. Because I've been wanting to do that for a while, because while I like the wooden railway Scotsman, it just doesn't look the best, so I plan to make another one of those. So, yeah. Anyway, that should be it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.